Somewhere in a driveway right now, a 3-year-old crossover is sitting on a tow truck with a transmission code the dealer can't explain, and the owner is still making payments on it. Meanwhile, a 15-year-old sedan 2 streets over just crossed 220,000 miles on its original engine, and the guy who owns it paid less for the whole car than that crossover owner still owes. That's not luck. That's the difference between buying a name and buying an engineering decision. New crossovers are loaded with things that sound good in a showroom and cost a fortune in a driveway. Continuously variable transmissions under constant strain from extra weight and higher ride height. Turbocharged 3- and 4-cylinder engines working harder than they were built to. Cylinder deactivation systems that were never simple to begin with. None of that is evil. Some of it works fine for years. But all of it adds failure points that a plain, unglamorous sedan from the right generation simply doesn't have. This video is about 5 cars that quietly outlast that complexity for a fraction of the price, and exactly why each one earns that reputation instead of just borrowing it. Start with the 2009 through 2013 Toyota Corolla, and specifically that window, not the Corolla in general. This is the last Corolla generation sold with a conventional 4-speed automatic instead of a CVT. Toyota introduced the CVT to the Corolla lineup starting with the following generation in 2014. That matters because a geared automatic has fewer heat-related failure points than a belt-and-pulley CVT, and Toyota's 4-speed unit in this car has a long track record of surviving well past 200,000 miles with nothing more than regular fluid changes. The engine is the 1.8-liter 2 ZR-FE, a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder with a timing chain, not a belt, so there's no scheduled belt replacement bill waiting for you at 100,000 miles. Clean examples with 100,000 to 150,000 miles typically run somewhere between $4,000 and $7,000, depending on region and trim. The real weakness here isn't mechanical, it's cosmetic and structural. These cars were built to a price, so interior plastics wear early, and rust can show up around rear wheel arches in road salt states. Check the trunk floor and rear shock towers before you buy, not just the engine bay. For a commuter who wants boring and bulletproof overexciting, this is close to the floor of what can go wrong. Next is the 2012 through 2017 Toyota Camry, and again the exact years matter. Toyota didn't put a CVT in the Camry until the redesigned 2018 model, so this generation still uses a conventional 6-speed automatic paired with the 2.5-liter 2AR-FE 4-cylinder. That combination has become something close to a default answer for buyers who want a family sedan they can put 15,000 miles a year on without thinking about it. It is not the fastest car in this list, and it is not supposed to be. It's supposed to start every morning for a decade. Expect to pay roughly $7,000 to $11,000 for a well-kept example in the 80,000 to 130,000 mile range, with 4-cylinder cars generally running less than V6 versions. The honest drawback is that Toyota's 4-cylinder engines from this era can consume oil faster than owners expect, so ask for maintenance records and check the oil level yourself before any test drive, not after. It's a manageable habit, not a warning sign, as long as you know to check it. Compare that ownership cost against a brand new crossover payment, and the math stops being close. The third car breaks the pattern, because this one isn't about avoiding a bad transmission. It's about a badge nobody associates with cheap. The 2007 through 2012 Lexus ES350 is mechanically a close relative of the Toyota Avalon and Camry from the same period, sharing the 3.5-liter 2 GR-FE V6 and a conventional 6-speed automatic, both components with strong long-term reliability records across Toyota and Lexus lineups. What buyers are actually paying extra for with a new luxury crossover is usually the badge, the interior materials, and features that don't affect how long the drivetrain lasts. This generation of ES350 has already absorbed its steepest depreciation. Original owners paid close to $40,000. Today, clean examples with 90,000 to 140,000 miles commonly sell in the $6,000 to $9,000 range. You get real leather, a quiet cabin, and a V6 that doesn't feel stressed at highway speed for less than a base trim of many new crossovers. The trade-off is that Lexus-specific parts, when you do need them, cost more than Toyota parts, even though many components are shared, so budget accordingly for anything outside routine maintenance. This is the car for someone who wants to feel like they upgraded without actually spending like they did. Fourth is a genuine warning wrapped inside a recommendation. The 2008 through 2012 Honda Accord, specifically the 4-cylinder trims paired with the 5-speed automatic, is one of the more underrated used sedans on the market, largely because people confuse it with later Accords that switched to CVTs starting in 2013. This earlier generation uses Honda's 2.4-liter K24 engine, a design with a strong reputation for high-mileage durability, mated to a traditional stepped automatic rather than a belt-driven one. That combination routinely goes past 200,000 miles with normal maintenance. Prices for these cars typically land between $5,000 and $8,000, depending on mileage and trim, which puts a Honda reliable sedan within reach of almost any working buyer. The catch is the timing belt. This engine uses a rubber timing belt rather than a chain, and it requires replacement around 100,000 to 110,000 miles per Honda's maintenance schedule. If a seller can't prove it was done, budget for it immediately, because a snapped belt on this engine can cause expensive internal damage. That single maintenance item is the entire difference between a car that goes to 250,000 miles and one that dies early from neglect. It's not a flaw in the car. It's a test of whether the previous owner actually took care of it. The fifth car is the deepest bargain on this list, and it's here because sometimes the smartest move is skipping the crossover era entirely. The 2006 through 2011 Ford Crown Victoria, along with its Mercury Grand Marquis twin, is a body-on-frame, rear-wheel drive sedan built on a platform Ford had been refining for decades by the time production ended. The 4.6-liter modular V8 and 4-speed automatic transmission in these cars were proven for years in police and taxi fleets, which is exactly the kind of continuous, high-mileage abuse that exposes weak engineering fast. These engines routinely survive past 250,000 miles with basic maintenance, and parts are cheap and everywhere because Ford built so many of them for commercial use. You can find clean private owner examples, not ex-fleet cars, for $3,000 to $6,000, sometimes less if you're patient. The honest weaknesses are fuel economy, which is genuinely poor by modern standards, and a driving experience that feels its age, with softer handling and less refined road noise than anything built in the last decade. This isn't the car for someone chasing comfort features. It's the car for someone who wants a nearly unkillable powertrain and doesn't care that it looks like a car from 2006, because it is one. Look at what actually connects these 5 cars, and it isn't the price tag. It's the transmission and engine combination underneath each one. Every single car on this list uses a conventional automatic transmission and a naturally aspirated engine from a period before manufacturers leaned hard into CVTs and small turbocharged engines to meet efficiency targets. That's not nostalgia. That's a specific mechanical decision that happens to correlate strongly with lower long-term repair costs. None of these cars are exciting. None of them will impress anyone in a parking lot. What they will do is start every morning, survive routine neglect better than more complex machinery, and let you put your money toward almost anything except a transmission shop. The badge on the hood was never the thing keeping these cars alive. The engineering underneath it was. If you want to know exactly which engines and transmissions to run from instead, that's next.